Okay. So, good afternoon. We have today with us Jessica Jane, who is with RBR.org, which stands for.
Resilience Birthright.
Ah, okay. Does it have anything to do with the comics?
Yes, so Resilience is a comic book character, and the organization and production company are all tailored to addressing climate change and through sustainability, zero waste, and empowering communities all around the world.
Okay, and it's your personal website?
Yes, it's my company and my nonprofit.
Okay. So, you get your message out through comics?
Through comics, through interacting with communities, through presentations, through schools, through various outlets.
Mm-hmm.
But my comic is one of my outlets in terms of getting the message across.
And you're a well-known figure. You just mentioned that you were a pageant and
Yeah, that's what got me started.
okay.
I was in the Miss California USA pageant,
Wow.
and I was
That's
Miss
impressive.
Alameda. Yeah, thank you. And I turned my platform into literally my career
Mm.
over the last um, at, at 8, almost 9, 10 years.
Okay, so just even when you started like 9, 10 years ago, that was your focus?
The environment,
The environment was your
making a
focus.
difference. Yeah.
And have you made a difference in 10 years?
Yes, actually, yes. When I first got involved in the pageants, I partnered with Community Action for Sustainable Alameda in the city of Alameda, and our local hauler in the city of Alameda, and we started my program, Miss Alameda Says Compost. So I helped get restaurants to compost and recycle, and I also supported our Green Schools Challenge in Alameda for the Unified School District. And within 4 years, we were able to pass the mandatory law for commercial businesses to recycle and compost because my program was so successful, getting over 150 restaurants to compost and recycle one by one over 4 years' time. And then the city felt confident
You had
after.
an ordinance
Yeah, but that was after my work. So the city felt very confident after we had
to
about,
move forward with it?
yeah, after we had over 150 restaurants participating because Alameda has around 300 restaurants
Mm-hmm.
on the island, which is really crazy, but we do. And when we first got started with Mask, there was maybe like two or three restaurants actually recycling and composting.
Wow.
So making it a law was definitely a scary thing for the city because they didn't want to deal with like a lot of
And the people
pushback and
voted on it?
yeah.
And now, if you go to an Alameda restaurant, they are
They all have
supposed.
to compost and recycle. But now, because Mask was so successful,
Mm.
we now have a new mandate: straws on demand. There are no plastic straws allowed on the island. Restaurants and businesses have to provide either reusable straws or paper straws. If they have plastic straws, they're actually breaking the law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Even McDonald's?
yeah, all of
Oh,
them.
so it applies even for the fast food chain?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, I
Yeah,
never.
even Starbucks in Alameda has paper straws.
Really, I
Hmm.
never heard of that. So it doesn't apply to San Francisco though,
It's Alameda. It's our
just
city.
Alameda.
It's our city law. But
But I know
because
that Starbucks is starting a
they're
movement.
right, and that's due to all of the plastic straw bans that are
Oh, so
happening,
they
and
got the word out?
yeah, so they're starting to transition because they know it's coming.
Okay, okay. So because they heard from Alameda, maybe a couple more
Other cities, yeah.
that they should do it.
Hmm.
Well, so you kind of made the first step in that direction.
It was the catalyst. Yeah, Mask was the catalyst to a lot of sustainable changes that are happening in Alameda now.
Okay, so you were in the comic section. You had
Hmm.
your little costume and everything,
Yes,
and that's your character.
it
And the
is.
character, who draws your character?
So my character, she has a few different versions. I've worked with various artists through my comic book career.
Mm-hmm.
But my illustrator for Origins of Resilience, which is the first chapter out of 13 episodes that I've already written, Charlo, my artist Charlo, is my illustrator, and he's
Okay.
done an amazing job.
Okay, so he puts together a little story.
No, so I wrote the story and I would storyboard, and I'm very particular on how um, I want my project to be presented because it's addressing real issues and I want people to be attracted and drawn to the message. So, beauty, um, details, illustration are really important to me. I wanted my graphic novel to be beautiful like The Last Unicorn, which was my inspiration in terms of if my graphic novel were to look like something, what would I want it to look like?
It's a short story.
Yes. The my
In
graphic
your comic books.
it's so this book is 38
Oh,
pages.
it's big.
It's my graphic novel is 38 pages, but I have 13 episodes and they average about 30 to 38 pages per book.
Hmm.
And it's 13 episodes for one season. I'll be writing season 2. But to answer your question about the illustrations, because I had this vision for my project, it was really important to me that everything is expressed. So I actually worked with various artists before I found Charlo, and I only gave my artists maybe 4 pages at a time, and I would, you know, block out different. I would storyboard it with like little stick figures and like
Yeah.
and I would do research on how I envision the bedroom to look like or the palace to look like, and I would give them all the I would give
Yeah.
them all these examples, and I'm really particular, and they would always say, so what's next, can I get the next pages, and I'd be like, once this is done, we'll move on to the next pages because it's just there's so much.
You can find an example on our BR org.
org, yes, .com. So yes, on my website you can find a few. I think there's like 8 pages available. So if you click on the book as if you're going to purchase it, it'll bring you to the landing page of my book. And there's actually a little button underneath the cover that says sample, and you can actually click it, and it'll show you like 8 pages PDF version of my graphic novel.
Okay. So you write the novel, then an illustrator put it into pictures.
Yes.
And then you sell a little booklet.
Yes.
And that's what you were doing at the Yerba Buena.
Yes, that's what I was doing. And I was also just getting my character out because she's an indie. She's a brainchild of mine, and she's my creation.
Yeah.
And so,
What's the name? What's
her name is Resilience.
Resilience.
Yes.
Okay. So Resilience is dressed up like you were.
Yes. So,
You have a picture here? No.
no, I maybe on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, on your phone. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So Resilience. I'm also an actress. So
Okay.
the goal is to turn my comic book series into a TV show, and
Oh.
I will be playing Resilience, Jessica Jane.
Did you do your first show?
Well, I have a short film called Recycle Woman. So
Yeah.
before there was Resilience, I was a superhero named Recycle Woman, but then I became a climate leader under Al Gore, and I started doing research because I was putting together a expedition about how climate change impacts us in the Bay Area. And after doing extensive research, I realized that what's driving climate change and the solutions to climate change go so deep, and that recycling narrows the avenue of really what I can touch in terms of topics.
Right.
And in the process of trying to figure out the origins of my superhero, where she came from, how she got her powers, who is she, I had a dream, and the dream was her mother releasing her daughter into the universe in this like little capsule, and she says, "Rise like a phoenix from the ashes of our people. Rise and be resilient." And that was how I realized where my superhero was from. I was like, "Oh, she's not from this planet. She's from a different planet." And yeah, so and that page is actually in my graphic novel, My Dream, and it's page 33.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And that's how I got the name Resilience in My
Okay.
Dream.
Yeah, so it's all connected with your goal of.
Helping address climate change and just empowering people.
Did you meet Al Gore when he was here at Salesforce 3 years ago?
No, I got to meet Al Gore in 2012 when I became a climate leader.
Oh, okay. He was here 3 years ago at Dreamforce.
Right, right.
Okay, and
I remember that.
he
He was
was like
great.
a very good. I taped him. I have the whole
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Yeah, I was allowed to tape all the speakers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he was like, because he has all his life been on the trail campaigning,
Right.
so he's an excellent speaker.
He is. He is. And he's very friendly and charismatic
Yeah.
and approachable. Like you
Yeah,
I
so he does encourage chapter of his whatever foundation he
Mhm.
has, and he was very much connected also with Gavin Newsom
Right, right. Yes, yes. Gavin Newsom and
when he was a mayor. They
right.
did an event.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing struggle, I think, but we're making progress.
Oh, yes, there's always progress, and that's the goal of my work and my superhero and my company and my organization is to show people what we actually have in terms of infrastructure, what we can do to mobilize individually and as a collective,
Yeah.
and how we are actually very powerful. And how we can either be the
Mm-hmm.
driver of climate change, or
Mm-hmm.
we can be the solution to climate change.
You know,
So
there's a big movement now to clean the beaches and
we
oceans.
have to.
Yeah, because all the animals are getting to swallow all that
Right.
plastic
We're yes, the marine life, they're going extinct.
because they're eating all that garbage.
It's the plastics, it's the toxins. Plastics become extremely toxic in the ocean
Mm-hmm.
because um, there's a chemical reaction that happens when plastic is in water.
Oh,
So with the toxins in the water, the plastic in the sunlight, the all the toxins attract to plastics like a magnet. And so when fish or other sea creatures eat the plastic, they're not just eating plastic, but they're eating um, plastic that's been compounded with toxins. So that is being released into their body, and some of these toxins mimic our DNA coding. They interfere with our organs and how they function, and they can actually create infertility. And they're starting to notice that whales are having a harder time reproducing. And whales, I'm not sure if you know this, but there were a couple of months ago. I'm not exactly sure how long ago. There was actually on the news that there was a mother whale carrying her dead calf for like days, and the news was following this whale because she wouldn't let her calf go.
oh, that's so sad.
And to me, I was just thinking, because I everything that I know in terms of what's happening to the oceans and to the planet
It's
due to
heartbreaking.
it is heartbreaking, but it's also they're canaries in the coal mine in terms of this is what's happening to our environment, and what's happening to them can happen to us. And so we really have to start making the changes, and it's all interconnected. The toxins that are entering in the environment, I think it's about 60 or 80% of I think it's 60% of all the toxins on the planet is due to incineration of waste.
Oh, I heard that whales are very smart animals. I
They
mean,
are.
even though they live in the sea, they are like very, very intuitive and understand a lot of things that we don't.
Yeah.
So it's sad to hear that they are being affected. And I read just somewhere that they made some biodegradable silverware, like it would degrade in 240 days.
Yeah.
And so that's the progress we're making too,
Yeah,
to make silverware in biodegradable.
I mean, I guess, but if you really want to ask my opinion, I
Yeah.
would say it's better that we start moving towards reusables,
Oh,
because
reusable.
everything has a carbon footprint. So if we just keep producing all these materials just to throw them away, it's like one-time use where it's like, okay, we're done. Now let's just get rid of it. Let's make it disappear. Let's make it go away. Well, think about like all the resources and all the energy and everything that we extracted from the
To make
planet to make
those.
that, just to be like, now go away. I'm
Oh,
done with you.
oh,
So
even if it's biograde in 240 days,
it's better to start thinking sustainable and start using reusables versus let me just it
make something that's going to biodegrade.
or just use something for one time use and then dispose of it. It's just better to start living more consciously. And I just think that in society we have become desensitized to our belongings and not really respecting everything that we have and everything that we use.
Mm-hmm.
So we're so used to just having something brand new, and then once there's a newer version, just tossing it and getting the newer version. And it's just like, well, all of those resources that went into that one object that once gave us pleasure no longer has pleasure because now we want the next new shiny thing. But it's like we don't see what's happening behind the scenes in terms of those products that we get over and then we want the next. And so it's really about thinking more consciously and start respecting ourselves and our planet and the belongings that we have and and um and just reusing,
Yeah, yeah. I've
repurposing.
seen also a documentary on the amount of disposable clothing. People wear it a week and then
Yeah,
because it's cheap, like on H&M for $10,
right. Fast
people,
fashion.
yeah, so they buy another one 3 weeks later, and they don't want to wear the old one. I mean, it's a huge
Yeah,
waste of clothing
yeah,
because they are so inexpensive.
yeah. Yeah, I love clothing and I love vintage clothing, and I when I purchase items, I think of long term.
Oh, quality.
Yes. And also just long term. I'm very particular on clothes that I purchase.
Okay.
So
So basically, you also think of the planet when you buy clothing because it might be cluttering the garbage can.
right, right. Yeah, I only purchase things that I really want.
Okay.
So when I go shopping, I'm a little particular.
Okay.
Um, I like to shop on sale.
Mm.
I love vintage. And when I see a particular garment, I know that if I get so excited, I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this. I have to have it. And if it's a little pricey, I'm like, okay, if I walk away from it in a week or two, would I still want it or would I be obsessing over it? And
Mm.
if the answer is I'll be obsessing over it, then I get it.
Okay.
If I can walk away and then just
Forget it.
forget it, I didn't need it to begin with.
Okay. Okay. Also, a lot of young people have like 50 pairs of shoes. Is that necessary?
Um, I have a lot of shoes too.
I know.
I
I
have
know, but
vintage
it's
shoes. Is it necessary? I mean,
you buy shoes that have been used before. Is that what
I
you're
have
saying?
I have a whole vintage collection, but
Okay.
actually it was shoes that I inherited from
Okay.
my ballet master, who was a great ballerina in her
Because they
time.
make them cheaper and cheaper. People buy.
Yeah, I don't buy a lot of shoes. I have shoes that I've had for years.
Oh, okay.
I get my shoes resold. But just the same thing with my shoes and my clothes. It's like things that I absolutely like love, have to have,
Oh,
and I do my best to keep them. The only things that I really go through my shoes, where maybe I have to get rid of them, are like my black boots that I wear all the time, and I wear them out, and the soles like start wearing out, and the next thing you know, water is getting in them or something like that. Then I'm like, okay, time to retire. But even then, I always handle my clothes responsibly. I'll donate them to the Goodwill. I know the Goodwill in San Francisco, if there's clothes that they cannot resell, they
mm-hmm.
will actually turn it into insulation for cars and for walls. So it's all a matter of being responsible with your resources when you discard them, knowing the outlets, knowing where to go and why. And so I always donate my clothes. If it's time to retire
You
something.
don't put it in garbage.
Oh no, absolutely not. I am I am so OCD about throwing things away. It
Oh,
makes it really hard
you
actually.
try to get someone else to use it.
I try to donate it, yes, or recycle it, or have it repurposed.
That's good. Me too. I don't like to put stuff in garbage just because I'm too lazy to give it.
Yeah, no way, no way. So I put things in boxes when I'm getting rid of things. I put things in boxes. I have them all to the side, and
Let someone use it.
yes, and I like to donate my clothes to women's shelters if they're nice clothes.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
always donate. I always think about just
People
giving
who might need
who
it.
might need it. Yes, I no throwing away in the landfill. That's an easy irresponsible way
But I've
of.
seen the documentary where there's tons of
Oh
clothes.
yeah, there's tons of textiles in the landfill,
Oh,
but that's the whole purpose of my superhero is to show people another way.
yeah, like maybe we should have a box on each corner of, or every 10 corner of a city where people can dump the clothes.
Well, they used to have that, but then there was like issues with like there was like a little bit of a war with like the Goodwill, and I think, or I don't know if it was the Goodwill. It was like something with like some of like the
Oh, they didn't want
yeah,
people
because
to do that?
there's organizations that do those clothing drop boxes, and
Ah,
that actually makes it easier
mm-hmm,
because I would just drop off my clothes in those boxes, but
mm-hmm.
then there was like some sort of like ordinance and like political thing
Who would get it? Goodwill
or
or
these
Salvation?
or these organized, yeah, there
Saint
was like
Vincent de
there
Paul.
was a clothing war, so then these boxes had to be removed. I only know this because I'm on the board of the Northern California Recycling Association, and one of our board members was actually she actually works for Recycle, or she worked for Recycle for Change,
Yeah.
and so they were one of the organizations that had those boxes, and so she was having like some challenges with some of her boxes being refused from certain cities, and there was a big issue when it came to that, so that's the
There
reason why
should
I
be
know that.
some kind of rule who gets them.
Well, honestly, people should be allowed to give their belongings where they want to, right?
Okay.
I mean that's just my opinion.
Maybe they can
But
write on top of the box Salvation Army,
well, but
Goodwill.
I mean they could, but then you're asking like who's going to distribute that?
That's another problem.
Yeah. So, but one thing that I think is really cool is the El Cerrito Recycling Center. They're like the one-stop shop for everything.
Oh, clothes or
Clothes,
bottles,
bottles, books,
everything.
everything. They're so cool. I did one of my climate change expeditions. I brought people on a tour of the El Cerrito
And
Recycling.
how does it work? People go there and help
You
themselves?
yeah, you can just drive in with your car. Yes, you can help yourself to the materials there, or you can drop off your
Donate.
materials. Yeah.
Okay.
And they have boxes for everything, mixed plastics. You can even drop off your any
Couch? No?
yes.
You can't.
Yes, they have a Goodwill truck.
Oh,
They
okay.
take everything. They take electronics. They even take styrofoam. They have like a little
Wow.
compactor, and they'll
Wow.
compact all the styrofoam. They do their best to find markets for all the materials that people
Drop off.
that people have. Their goal is not to take what the curbside recycling program takes. Their goal is to accept everything that you can't put in your recycle bin
Okay.
and find a home for it. So I love going there because it's very easy. They make it easy to like give the stuff away. So I like to donate to women's shelters, and then the other things that I can't handle, I will distribute there.
Hmm.
And it's really cool.
So your character is called Resilience
Mhm.
because it is connected to the recycling
Yeah.
movement? Okay.
Well, resilience, she's connected to the resilience movement. There is a whole resiliency movement that started happening in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to do with climate change, and it's about being resilient. It's
Okay.
about making the changes and moving our global community to the next phase of humanity where we have to start cleaning things up, and we have to start taking care of one another, and we have to start preparing for the changes that are happening with our climate, because people all around the world are going to be impacted. It doesn't matter where you are. The
Mm-hmm.
climate is changing. That you're either going to deal with drought, sea level rise, um, heat,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
um, everything, crops, just
So
they're
every country is making their own idea. I mean, is contributing their own ideas.
right. I mean, hopefully, that's the idea, and it's not a one size fits all. There's different solutions for different countries, for different locations. Not everybody has the same problems or challenges. The idea, though, is to inspire one another and find out what is working and not necessarily recreating the wheel, but borrowing from each other so that we can help speed up the process. Because, yes, in my opinion, as a global community, we're going to have to come together to address climate change. It's not one-sided or an issue that affects someone on the other side of the world, but we are all a part of this planet. This is all our home, and we're all responsible to what is happening to her.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
So the main focus of your organization is to get the word out, but you don't have like a particular program. Like you don't have boxes, you don't have a center. It's just the word out.
I consider myself a bridge of communication.
Okay.
So I know many organizations. I know various different programs. I work with various organizations, cities,
Mm-hmm.
government programs, and so I know what is available, and my goal is to help
Them implement your ideas, maybe.
implement not necessarily my ideas. I implement my own ideas. That's where
Okay.
my company comes in. But my goal is to shine light on the resources that we have available so people can actually start using them, because the reality is we have infrastructure, especially here in the Bay Area, that is underutilized.
Okay.
And why is it underutilized? Because most people just aren't aware. Maybe they're not paying attention. Maybe there isn't interest
Okay.
because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But then when you do know, then you have the opportunity to make a change. So my goal is to bridge that gap so that people are then informed. And at that point, they are now responsible to make a choice, and whatever their choice is, that is their choice. But my goal is to empower them so that they do know.
Okay.
I believe that, well, I believe in ancient knowledge that people can be innocent if they're ignorant. But then once, in terms of, if someone is in ignorance and they're making decisions that may be harmful, but they don't know it's harmful because they're just in ignorance, okay, maybe they're innocent. But once you do know and you still make those choices, that's a different story. So my goal is to help reveal what is happening, and then when people are aware, oh, this choice hurts someone on the other side of the world, I'm still going to make that choice. Well, now you're just consciously hurting other people. That's your choice. But if people are like, oh, maybe that doesn't fit with my morals and my ethics, and I don't feel comfortable with that. Oh, well, here are other alternatives to that choice. Oh, well, I will consciously now make these other choices because now I'm aware of this is available to me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. In San Francisco, we do have a recycling program,
Yes,
and
a
we
very
have
good
to,
one.
and we have to.
Yes, and we have to in Alameda too.
Oh.
And that's all a part of the movement. And that was, thank goodness for Governor Gavin Newsom. I was going to call him Lieutenant Governor, but he's now Gavin
Yeah.
Newsom.
Yeah, he did
Yeah,
start the movement.
now Governor.
Yeah, and maybe you can make, like you say, a TV show, a documentary to get the word out, right?
Well, I do have those already. I have documentaries on YouTube,
Okay.
and I actually interviewed our dear Governor Gavin Newsom
Oh,
in
nice.
2012. He's in my first
Guest?
part. Yeah, he's my first.
Yeah, I see him
Celebrity
occasionally.
guest.
He goes to KQED across the street.
Okay.
And he used to have a weekly show there, but I don't know if he still does now that he's governor. But he was making many guest appearances on KQED.
Yes, he's amazing.
So you're probably glad that he's a governor now?
Yes, yes. I like the way he thinks. He understands that we have to make changes. He understands that we're already experiencing sea level rise in the Bay Area. He already understands things. And the thing is, he's not afraid to think outside the box. And he's not afraid to think differently and see things differently and also express.
He's open.
He's open. And that's what makes him an asset because we need people like that. And when I interviewed him, he was saying, he was looking at what other cities were doing in other countries. And he was saying, oh, I was borrowing an idea here, borrowing an idea there,
And
just
implement
and
it.
implementing. And I'm like, that's what we need. We need people to look at what's working and then customize, because it's not always a one size fits all deal, but we have to be able to adjust and compromise and piece things together and make it work.
Okay.
And so he's like, he has that thinking process, and those are the type of leaders we need in office.
When you do your show, do you dress up like your character?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was hoping you would come dressed like that.
Oh, I didn't know. Well,
No,
maybe
no,
we
but
could
that's
have
okay.
a part 2
But
and I
that's
can
okay.
show up.
Yeah, but I do have a video of you at the Yerba
Sure.
Buena, so I did show that part of you.
Okay.
But you look totally different like that.
Yes. Well, if you ever want resilience to come back again, we can do another show. Maybe we can just talk about the graphic novel.
Okay. All right. It has been a pleasure. I hope we'll work all together toward a common goal, right?
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here. I enjoy interviewing you. Thank you.
Thank you.